Hello and welcome back. It's been a while. Okay, so as you can see from the title of this video, this is one of a series of videos I'm going to just be putting out just because why not? I enjoy them. Lots of people enjoy them. What do we call these? Collection videos? Yeah. So those of you who've been following me for a while know that I moved out a lot of decks. Many decks. Much decks, much decks. Much decks have passed through my hands. And to this video right now that I'm recording is, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the first 5 that I kept, when I was down to 5 tarot decks. So, just because of space constraints here, I just have them. I just have these 3. So of course, the 5 that I kept. So I don't know, how do we want to do this? Well, I'll start with the 5 that I originally kept that I actually read with, if I'm not mistaken, because I got to tell you, it's like, things, if we remain the same, like nothing remains the same. We don't, and as people, we grow and we change. So after I had culled everything, I had 5 tarot decks left that I actually worked with. That doesn't mean that I didn't have more, but there were 5 left that I kept, the 5 that I actually read with regularly. And, well, you'll see. I'll explain. So, just these backs, come on, if you're watching tarot videos, you know these backs. This is my Sentimental. I even featured it in my disheveled decks, yada yada yada. Of course, my greenie. This is my first greenie. I say first greenie because I have more than one. I have 2 greenies. I won one in a draw. And this is the one that lives on my altar. It's the one also that was featured in my disheveled decks because, it's quite worn. I've used it every day for the last 2.5 years, at least to just draw a card. You could see like the edges are, it's well loved. Both of these are very well loved. This one has been my reading deck for the public since 2017. And this one saw a lot of in-person readings before, pandemic. Anyway. I'm not monetized. I could say COVID. I could say pandemic. It doesn't matter. All right. So those 2. So I'll set those aside. The other one, of course, I had to keep was my Mythologia Phoenica tarot. This is still available. This is still available. Honestly, this is it's a really good value, and it's a very deep and spiritual tool. It's beautiful. I'm just going to show you some images because it's not one that I read. I don't do readings with this for mundane things. This is usually for more of the spiritual kind of reading. Yeah. But it's still available. It's affordable, and it's a fantastic value. It comes with a guidebook, and it's again top 3. Right there we go. The other 2 I had kept were this one and this one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to center this a little bit. Let's try to pretend we know what we're doing here. Okay. I'm going to do another video where I talk about this more, but I have I have more than one copy of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. More than one version of it. I have more than one version of the Thoth deck. And I have 2 of Animal Wise. I have this one, and I have the first edition. The first edition is really hard to read. I don't care that the cardstock is the way it is because it's vintage, right? It's the same cardstock as my Hoi Polloi. But it's just visually, these actually, you could see them better, and I might actually do a comparison video while I'm all set up today. Just do a flip through so I can compare the two to show you that this is the better version. This is the more recent one that was available. I think it's currently either out of print or probably there's a break in production because they might be upgrading the cardstock. Who knows? Because this one's a big seller. I don't see why it would go. It wouldn't. I don't see it going out of print for a long time. I think it's just that they're getting, you know, they're probably gearing up to re-release it. And if you are bilingual, there's the French copy that is beautiful. The French copy marries the first edition, the English first edition aesthetic with the more clarity of this edition. I don't even know what edition this is, second or third. But anyway, so animal wise, how come? My God, I kept this one, and this is a Greenwood Tarot printed up on MPC from a few years ago. This artwork was public domain. It was released by the artist for people to do whatever the heck they wanted with it. And somebody who loves me sent me a copy that they had figured out how to upload beautifully to MPC. And now I'm pretty happy. Greenwood is also one that very much like Mythologia Fennica are decks that I turn to just for myself, and they're more for a spiritual kind of reading. Okay, so those were the original 5 that I kept that I read with. Then there's 2 that I kept because, well, you know, they're old friends. This, if you've watched me once, even if you've seen 1 or 2 of my videos, you've probably seen this old hag. This is my this was my only tarot deck for 20-something years, and I don't read with it. We have a lot of history. I don't read with it. I don't. Sometimes I'll pick it up and draw a card or whatever, but I don't read with it. But it's not going anywhere for obvious reasons, right? Sentimental. The other one is this guy. This is Mythic Tarot. I don't read with this deck. I read the guidebook, or rather, I used to read the guidebook a lot when I was starting out. And it's because this is my friend Terry's tarot deck. Not this physical copy, but this is the only tarot deck she has. And hers looks about 500 years old. That's the daily use. It's in the trenches since the 80s, since the late 80s or since the mid 80s, whenever it came out, right? Mine is still in pretty decent condition. It's a little bowed or whatever, but no, it's like, it looks pretty good. It's a kind of cardstock that shows its age, but mine looks pretty good for, you know, I've had it for a long time now. It's not one that I read with, but I can't imagine, like, you know, I tried to sell it and I ended up having to buy it back because I didn't like the person. The person who got it felt like the deck hated them. And I've already discussed that, how that can happen to the best of us. So I ended up repurchasing it from them. And so it came back. There we go. So I don't want to unleash it onto the world. So here it is. I offered it to my friend, who hers is looking about 500 years old, and she said something that was part of my whole introspection about why the hell do I have so many decks that I don't need? Because that's the thing, right? I didn't get, you know, we don't get rid of things we don't need or we don't like or we don't want, right? Why do I have so many decks that I don't even know because I don't have a relationship with them? It's, you know, when my friend has one tarot deck, her Mythic Tarot deck, she's had it since the very beginning. It's a part of her, and that was part of a conversation that gave me pause and started me on the road to Debarras, like we say where I come from. All right, so those are the 5 that I kept. And that's not counting duplicate, like, you know, my different versions of Thoth, my different versions of RWS, my other version of Animal Wise, and that's it. Okay. So as I worked with these 5 tarot decks, I over time, like over the months after I had decluttered, I felt good. I felt good about what I decluttered, but there were some decks that were tapping on my brain that I just felt like I missed them. So after doing the massive decluttering, I replaced 5. And these are the 5 that I replaced. Oh my God. Okay, I'll just do one at a time. The first one is Tarot of a Moon Garden. So I replaced the one, so the one I had, I got rid of it because I didn't have my original one. That was one from the 90s that I had gotten on eBay, the one that I did have, and it smelled like musty basement, and I just could not get that stench out of it. It didn't matter what I do. Even the defunctifier didn't work on that one. And it was so heavy. It was so heavy from that other person's previous owner's use. Which brings me to the whole, I love used stuff. Like I'm a, you know, I love thrifting. I love giving things a new life. You know what I mean? I love adopting things and giving them a new life and all that. But if I can't clear the energy from them, they got to go. So I ended up replacing it with this one. Now, what I'm going to say is for card snobs and stuff like that. Okay, so card snobs, myself included, I guess, right? The 1990 one that I had, 1990 printing, was a little murkier. It was a little, you know, they brightened this one up just a little bit, just enough for me to notice that this one's brightened up. But this and the cardstock is just this much more manageable for me. I like this this Italian cardstock, like printed in Italy cardstock. Again, like I have arthritis, right, in my hands, so I need a deck I can do that with, right? I'm not bridging or shuffling it because it's currently in order because I got to do something with it. But that one, so that's one I replaced. The second one I replaced surprised me. It was this one. This is the Inner Child cards. I had one that I had gotten at a used bookstore, and this is the edition with the hardback cover. This is the one with the heavier cardstock. I had gotten the other one, the current edition, from a used bookstore. I paid it something like $5 with the cards in the book and everything in the box. And that's the one that I rebacked, trimmed. Anyway, it was a brick. When I had rebacked it with, like, you know, full distressed wood, and it was like this thick, and I couldn't handle it. And I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to talk about it. I'm gonna talk about deck modification in another video. It's gonna be dedicated just to deck modification, aesthetics versus practical, and the aesthetics versus the energetics. That's it. I'll talk about that in another video, not right now. Okay, so I replaced this one. I had an opportunity. I just paid shipping on it, literally, and it's in decent condition. It has like it just has one card that's like beat up, but not even beat up. It's just a little creased or whatever. I missed it. It surprised me. I missed it. And again, if you're meant to work with a deck, it just comes into your life. This one, literally, I just paid shipping on it. Okay, so that's the second one I replaced. These guys, I ended up replacing these guys. Primarily this one. I got rid of my Tarot of the Magical Forest. Mine was trimmed and edged and trimmed of the borders. and edged in green. Aesthetically, it was a work of art. But energetically, trimming the borders off did something to it, and I never read with it. So I replaced it with this one, and I'm so happy I did. And then the last, not the last one, the fourth one I replaced was a Tarot of the Secret Forest. I feel like these two were stress culled. You know what I mean? There was the mindful clearing. There was a mindful getting rid of the excess, the stuff that was weighing me down, that was overwhelming me, that didn't inspire me. And then there were the casualties of war, such as these guys. So the five decks and the 5 tarot decks, because there's a distinction between tarot and oracle for me. The 5 tarot decks I ended up replacing, 4 of them were stress culled. And then the 5th one I replaced, I got this in a, I gave mine away with the guidebook. Main reason is because, okay, let me tell you something about this deck. I think it's really far out, man. It's totally, I know people have described it as shamanic. They just, you know, it has a lot of shamanic kind of imagery in here. Because it's in the black, and it's cosmic, it's astral. This to me, it has that feeling of, you know, when you're on the astral plane, astral projection. Excuse me, astral projecting. I don't know. I got rid of the other one because, well, sometimes objects carry energy. No, I'm just trying to be diplomatic. Some things carry the energy. Objects carry energy, period. All objects carry energy. I believe all objects have spirits, or some kind of spirit in them. I guess that makes me an animist, if you want to label me. I'm somewhat of an animist. And I did not like, I didn't enjoy the copy I had, because it had energy attached to it that just made me not enjoy it. So I moved it on. And again, when something is meant to be with you, here it is. An online friend, we did a trade, and here it's back. So that's, if you're counting, that's 12 tarot decks so far. The 5 I kept, the 5 I replaced, the 2, the Mythic Tarot and the Morgan Greer, and then number 13, well, my previous video, if you watched it, is the tarot deck I made with the soul cards, or the tarot deck I assembled by using soul cards. The ratio of soul cards 1 and 2, it's almost 50-50, almost. And for those of you who are wondering how much of each deck it comprises. And because here, it's, you know, I'm all about being real with people and stuff like that. Let's be honest. What did I say? And I'm going to be honest. Because, you know, I don't know how else to be. Then there's tarot decks that they sit on my shelf. They're not part of my tarot family. They're not even that. You know what I mean? They're not part of my regular world, tarot world. But you know what? I do appreciate them. I received this one from a family member for Christmas, and I'm not gonna lie, it's the only Chris-Anne deck I really like. Seriously, this one is this one. You know what? It's like, it reminds me of the Housewives Tarot. I edged it to match the borders. It has that nice, I like that swishy sounding cardstock. I love the backs. And yeah, it was a gift. I never would have selected this for myself. I wouldn't even have looked at it. I got it for Christmas, and I'm not gonna lie, I reach for it time to time, and it cheers me up. It's really cute. I like it. And the other two that sit, this is my Halloween tarot, and it's the one with the book. This sits on my shelf, and let me see if I could get this in frame here. Here we go. This one sits on my shelf, and I'm going to pull it out at Halloween. It's not one that I use regularly. And then the last one, oh my God, look at this. This is an oldie. Voyager Tarot. This one, again, for its age, it looks incredible. Look at it. And not to brag or anything, but you know, it's signed. And that's November 23rd, 1986. That's not a 4, it's 86. All right. And it's still in order. Is it? No, it's not in order because I mixed it up. But yeah, this sits on my shelf. I plan to eventually get to it. It's not one I want to get rid of. Like the ones that sit on my shelf, they're not that I want to get rid of them, but I'm not doing anything with them right now, so they don't need to be in the cabinet with the decks I'm working with, right? The tarot decks I use all the time. And then I'll save the duplicate copies for another video. So that was it for this one. This was my the 5 I kept, the original 5 I kept, the 5 that I replaced, and the 2 that were retired. I'm sorry, I like I don't know, just my brain fell out. And number 13, the soul cards. But just recently, I got a new deck, and I think I'm going to do a separate video about the new deck to join my tarot deck family. Because it's more like a family than it is a collection, I guess. Because a collection implies that you have like really cool stuff. Like, you know, like really sought after, or you have really like, you know, niche or something impressive. Mine is more like a tarot deck family. They're the decks that I love, and we do a lot of good work together. All right, so that's it for this video, and I'm gonna stop this right here because I'm just rambling, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.